Welcome to the Wood Tier Invitational Oak Tournament, Round 4. Tonight we have Watchpoint Gibralfie versus Limit Break Fireteam Cobalt. Tonight is a special treat because we are utilizing the mutual coach between these two teams in the form of Oblivion DVDR, and our other caster is going to be Ty Guy Gaming. I will hand it over to you.
Thank you very much, Wood Tier Guru. Glad to be back for the second night. And as he said, I am Ty Guy Gaming, and alongside me I have Oblivion DVDR. How are you doing tonight?
I couldn't be any more excited. These teams have been working really hard, and it's going to be really fun to tear into them here with you, Ty. So, Ty's good. Ty's good.
Yes.
Ty Guy.
Very exciting stuff. So, I mean, what's that like? I don't think I've ever had that in casting before. You know what I mean? Having both teams, like, you don't really have a favorite, right? You just want both teams to perform well.
No, I'm just looking to for us to sit here and cast a match of Overwatch that hopefully goes on for 2 hours if we're lucky.
Hey, we had that last night. It's quite possible.
I know that these teams are pretty evenly matched. They play against each other regularly in warm-ups. They know each other pretty well. They're hoping that they can take out their counterparts on the other team that they know pretty well. So we might see some spicy 1v1s in here.
I like it. So it's definitely going to be a back and back. And of course, here we go. Starting on control point, that is the starting game mode. And we have typically now 68% of the time, Lijiang is chosen for that first map. But we see Ilios. That's probably, I'd say, a close second. A lot of people like Ilios. And it looks like we're starting on well here. So a lot of environmentals. What do we expect to see Oblivion coming out the gate here? A lot of environmental friendly characters to boop them off?
So something that I know that Watchpoint Gibralfie is going to run is the Wrecking Ball composition, where they utilize the groupings of Zenyatta, Brig, and Diva together to form a solid backline, and then they're most likely going to go with an Echo. Yep, Echo Tracer here to follow up on their Wrecking Ball. Now, I know that it's not the favorite comp of Cobalt, so they may do something off meta. They do love the Sombra.
Well, it seemed to be working out. I mean, they did use... There was a bit of going back and forth that Sombra came out from both sides last night when Phoenix played Cobalt, and it seems to be a pretty useful tool. So here we go, coming out the gate. Got that Wrecking Ball. I do like that. You can see the different styles on the off-tank there of the Diva and Zarya. So just waiting to get to this point here. It looks like being pretty aggressive, both teams. And I'll say Cobalt last night, they did a great job, but they got to take the aggression to them. A lot of times where they struggled is when they let the other team get on there. So they got to figure that out in this matchup.
Yeah, they really need to look to make these strong engages. Ihor's going to push up, takes a lot of damage, actually goes down. Too aggressive, doesn't quite set up the play that he's looking to make. Cobalt's going to have to back up here. Pajola's going to sit here on the point, try to make something happen, try to take the space for his team, but without his main tank, he's not really going to be able to get much.
It's going to be pretty hard there. And here we go, getting the point first will be the side of... I already forgot the name. What was the name? I got so distracted there. The other team here.
Watchpoint Gibralfie here.
Yeah, Gibralfie, I'm so sorry.
Right
I was thinking about last night. So Gibralfie gets it, and like we said, the aggression was lacking there. And that's really what overdid it. Now, we might be able to see a flip possibly here, getting great pressure and zoning Gibralfie off. So they should be able just to clean up this fight here and have fairly good ult charge. You got a couple ults coming up here for the side of Fireteam Cobalt.
Yeah, Cobalt with a really strong re-engage there. We see Ian picking up several kills, Ian W, picking up several kills here on that Echo. Charged his ult already, so he's going to be ready to go with...
Yeah, it was. I mean, the 35% gets up there pretty fast, but I mean, when you're about to equal that now, it doesn't seem like that much. And there's the Echo coming out early, looking to find anything in this fight here. They're kind of just keeping each other at bay, not really pushing forward too much. Wrecking Ball coming in there, trying to find something. And there's a grab, and look out, here comes the self-destruct looking for anything. Can't find it, but Chaos does get the early kill in this fight, and it seems like Cobalt's going to be able to clean up this fight now.
Yeah, good positioning there by Cobalt, playing it a little slow, but making sure that they use their ults first, making sure that they had control of the fight the whole time. You see with 3 tanks up, Ian W on that Echo, copying the D.Va, just had such a strong front line that whenever Pajolo was able to find a good Graviton Surge, just chucked it in there and didn't quite get any kills off of it, but they were able to clean up right after that.
So the minefield coming in there, and the Transcendence being used from the side of Gibralfie, looking to find anything here, and really they're just pushing and trying to be that aggressive. Immortality coming up, not really finding the kills though, what they're looking for, but you got to get on that point. High Noon coming in, looking to find anything for the side of Cobalt.
Huge
and
by Chaos. Comes up the whole backline of Watchpoint Gibralfie here. Taking out both of the supports is going to be really difficult for Gibralfie to come back onto this point with only 90%, or with 90% ticking up for Cobalt.
And it's just going to be a stall effort at this point. Should be able to touch the zone, should be able to get back on here. But they're moving pretty quick. Might have a little bit more than we thought in this fight. 99, they are on. Just trying to stay alive is Gibralfie here. Not finding any of the kills right now. It's still very, very close. A lot of ults going in, but Jelly getting that first pick is going to make a big difference. And here it comes in for Fireteam Cobalt.
Yeah, we see Pet going down to the Graviton Surge by Pajolo. Zone caught in it, is going to go down too. Diggory's the only one left on the point, but he doesn't have his mech anymore. Arietta is going to go down as well. Good cleanup by Cobalt. Gibralfie gets first capture, but isn't able to deal with those aggressive, decisive pushes from Cobalt.
It still worked out, and despite Gibralfie getting the point first, it didn't matter. I mean, they got it up to 35%, but Cobalt did a good job at zoning that in, putting the pressure on, and really, that's what you got to do. You got to bring the pressure to that team, but you got to play smart.
Yeah, that's one of the hallmarks of the Wrecking Ball composition is really picking your spots well, really making sure that your positioning is good. So any positioning errors on the point of Watchpoint Gibralfie when they're playing that composition is going to cost them big.
So come back here, we do have the same amount of compositions coming in here. And now McCree, Chaos did such a great job last night. I mean, they were coming up with clutch high noons and different things, and despite them losing that match, I mean, they still were playing very well. So I expect this to be a heated, as you said, that DPS matchup, and a lot of them know their counterparts. So an early aggression there by Team Gibralfie, but it didn't seem to work out.
No, Diggory going too aggressive, getting hit by the stun by Chaos and then just taken out by those stickies. Dan is going to make an aggressive play here onto Chaos, but Chaos has the support of his backline. Dan's going to catch Jelly for that rotation, though. Malarkey is going to pick up Jelly, so it's Gibralfie's down in this fight, but they're up on point. Ehor is going to take out the zone. It looks like Gibralfie's got their back up against the wall here.
Yeah, and Eeyore picking up that clutch, and there's another kill by Eeyore, getting the environmental so clutch. And I thought for a second Gibralfie might have had him, but they're just staying compacted and forcing the side of Gibralfie to make that mistake. And Cobalt's doing such a great job, and they're going to have about the high noon coming up here soon. Going to have that Echo ult going into the amplification from Baptiste, so it's going to be hard for this push for Gibralfie to push into him easily.
We see Zone trying to get position. It's actually hanging off the side of the map here, so they're going to have to wait a little bit for their main tank to come back up. Diggory is now on the Sigma here, so going to try a different style. Dan is going to take out 2 in the backline, though. Takes out Chaos and Malarkey. Zone is going to go in. Dan takes out 3. Really quick fight coming out for Gibralfie, but they found a good place, but Pajolo's not done yet. He's going to take out Sir King Jared and Dan. It's 2v2 on the point. Both tanks fighting back and forth. Ehor takes out Diggory, and the Zone is not going to be able to do anything.
That's crazy. Despite Dan getting 3 kills across the board, Cobalt manages to keep on to the point. And that's the thing about Zarya, and I think when you get in these matchups, not having that Zarya against the Zarya, you have such a brute charge and a force, and if you can't take her down, she becomes the deadliest person out there. So we're at 62%, about 2/3 of the way here, and that grab's coming up, and but Malarkey going down early in that fight that may just be what Gibralfie needs to win this fight.
We see Chaos answering Dan here, so that big threat of Echo isn't going to do anything. Ian is going to take out Diggory, and we're going to see Cobalt probably cleaning up this fight. Zone! Picks off 2, gets Chaos and Pajolo, but are Gibralfie going to have enough left on the point?
And there's a
3 with Jelly!
3 environmental kills, unbelievable, but they're still having trouble despite that. And there, Eeyore gets it back. That is ultimate karma. You can get as many kills as you want, but if you go off the map, then that's it. So this fight's still going on. Jared getting the pulse bomb, finding it, and it's just a stalling effort here from Gibralfie looking to find anything. There's the grab out, not finding anybody with the mines, and this should be able to easily Fireteam Cobalt's map.
Yeah, Cobalt on the point here, just trying to lock it down. A couple deep people able to touch. Zone's going to come in, touch whenever he can. Ian is going to take out his counterpart, and Dan also going to take out the zone. And yep, good solid defense there.
That was a fast map. That may have been the fastest map. I don't even think we had a fast map like that last night. Well, no, that's not true. The control started off like that 2-0 very quick. So, do you think, what do you think Gibralfie's really going to have to do? Because they seem to have an answer, but they just were getting kills late into the fight. They couldn't get that early pick, and I think a lot of times that comes down to the key. But what do you think Gibralfie's going to have to do coming on the next map?
I think the key that they're going to have to look out for is their positioning. Their play style, what they're choosing to play here with this Wrecking Ball, really depends on their rotations, really depends on how their tanks are taking damage. They're not going to have a lot of healing. They're going to either be playing Zenyatta and Brigitte or Zenyatta and Mercy, which does not give their tanks any wiggle room to take too much damage. You see several times Diggory getting caught out a little bit, get stunned by one ability, and all of a sudden there's almost no way you can get back into the fight, even if you are able to save the mech. So it's going to really come down to how they're able to position themselves, and if they're able to rotate around the map to take advantages of any chinks in the armor of Cobalt.
Yeah, they gotta find it early. So moving on to hybrid will be the next game mode, of course, and 68% of the time King's Row's chosen. I mean that's an outrageous amount. I expect King Row to come up here. I could see it. I could understand if the teams don't choose it, but it typically seems to be a favorite of a lot of teams in just about any league.
So my insider information tells me, my guess is that Gibralfie is not going to go with King's Row.
Really?
I could be wrong, but I know one of the things that they struggle with against Cobalt, and some of the things that I've worked on, is that Cobalt has a really strong brawl composition. And that's one of the places where Gibralfie doesn't match up all the time. So they know that they're weak in that matchup, and taking yourselves to King's Row whenever you're not confident in your ability to brawl against the other team is not a good way to come back and take a map after losing the first one. So I think we're going to see, I don't know what map we're going to see, but would not be surprised if it wasn't King's Row.
It wasn't King's Row. I mean, that makes sense. It's always the goats heavy, the brawl heavy, the slambulance, always that classic 4 tanks, 2 healers. Never forget that composition. But, I mean, anything can happen, of course. So I just know the typical King's Row, but I could see that. So it's pretty cool that you're the coach for both sides here. And a fun fact you told me is that the Gibralfie, the Alfie part, is someone's dog that they named it after. Is that correct?
Yes, it is the dog of the zone. We see Hollywood here. So, unsurprisingly, going with Hollywood instead of King's Row, this really plays into their strengths, plays into that Wrecking Ball composition. Wrecking Ball is incredible on the first and the second point, and even plays into the third point here. So they're just going to try to play into what they think are their strengths and what they think are Cobalt's weaknesses.
And so it looks like Gibralfie's going to be on that attack first, I believe. They're kind of playing games in the lobby there. So that's one of the hardest things. the hardest thing for a caster is to look, and then you see the names flip-flop, and I think so it should be Gibralfie here on the attack to start. But like you said, a lot of times on Hollywood when we see these attacks, utilizing being quick, but also setting up sometimes, utilizing that high ground and knocking off. You control that on Hollywood, it becomes a nightmare as a defender to be able to handle that because you don't get the best angles on them.
Yeah, what the offense is really looking to do is choke out the defense slowly, use your flankers and the wrecking ball to kind of force the defense into a lose-lose situation. Once you take the high ground away and you have a tracer threatening the back line on a flank, there's not a whole lot of places that the defense can go. So in that situation, whenever someone on their team takes a lot of damage, they're not able to retreat. So if Zenyatta gets a 5-ball on someone, even if they don't get taken out, they go low, Tracer's going to be there to meet them. So the whole point of that sort of composition and playstyle is to take as much space away as you can without taking damage, and then just go in on a little opportunity of burst damage.
Very, very well said. So, waiting a little bit here. I think they're waiting on a player so to get going into the lobby. But you've played a lot of Overwatch here. What's been your favorite thing? I mean, are you liking this meta right now? It seems to be almost like a little bit of a heavier DPS, and sometimes it seems like it relies on the DPS to do a lot of damage. And how do you feel about this meta right now?
This is one of the more interesting metas we've seen. The composition that I keep on kind of going on about, which is sort of the meta composition, is this Ball D.Va comp. We see it being played pretty differently than a lot of compositions. A lot of players seem to think of it as a dive. And dive, when we saw it, back in 2016, was Genji, Tracer, really hard on, just everyone jump in at the same time, blow someone up. It was really aggressive and really fast. And you see some elements of that here, but the D.Va often isn't going in for the dives. Most of the time, it's just one DPS and the wrecking ball. So it's actually a really slow composition. It plays more interestingly, or more interesting, I think, than a lot of other compositions we see, like more traditional, say, brawl compositions or double shield. So I like it. I like that there's two teams playing on one team, where you have the backline, the Brig, the Zen, the D.Va, kind of playing as one character, almost playing as one unit, and then using the D.Va to almost babysit the D.Va. Is going to babysit the Zenyatta, and that's what the Brig is there for too. So they're basically giving a bunch of health to Zenyatta to almost be like a third DPS. So it's one of the more interesting play styles. Not my favorite composition I've ever seen. I think that has to go to quad DPS. Back near the tail end of the goats
Quad
meta.
DPS, wow.
which was my favorite. That back then was my favorite meta. This comp actually plays pretty similarly to quad DPS, in that you have oftentimes two flanking DPS. You have a wrecking ball, and then you have your Zen kind of acting as like a third DPS in a way. So this kind of harkens back to that for me, and I really enjoyed that meta.
And anybody who knows me, have heard my casting before, they know I like dive. And as soon as you mention, especially the 2016, that early, I mean, that was fantastic. I mean, we started when Overwatch first came out, and that early, I mean, you watch the World Cup and all these other events, and right before the league start, I mean, you had all this dive, and it was like, oh, it was such a good time. It was fun. I mean, it really made you feel like you were playing part of a team. It was like everybody had to do their part, and they knew if you did it right, sometimes it worked, sometimes it wasn't, but it felt like it was just a fun way to play the game.
I think evolving metas is something that we as players take for granted. Every meta teaches us Overwatch players how to play the game better. I think Dive was a really good sort of first introductory meta, because it really showed how much you can play as one unit, really put yourself together in the same position, use cooldowns, make sure that you're coordinated. I think that was a good place for us to start learning how to play Overwatch in a team setting. And you see it kind of evolve throughout. We see the 4 tank, 2 support meta, and then eventually that kind of turns into the GOATS meta, and I think GOATS really taught us a lot about Overwatch. I think the average Overwatch player nowadays is much better than the average Overwatch player 4 years ago, and you see it with this comp too. So every single time a new meta evolves, we see different ways of playing the game, we see different ways of upgrading our fundamentals, and I think that's why it makes tournaments like this really fun. Is
I agree,
teams
absolutely.
have been spending so much time, even though the SR of these teams might not be high. You know, if you were to take these players, they would have been easy masters, grandmasters players if you just teleported them back in time, put them in 2016. So the bar is really high here on skill level, and I really appreciate that we get to see new Overwatch fundamentals come out even every patch.
Exactly, and I do agree with that. And I think that's what draws people back to this game so much, is it's constantly evolving. It's the same principle of the game, but constantly evolving. So here we are finally. It took a hot minute. That was a great stall we had to do. Oblivion, that's just talented. That's hard to do when you're waiting on the lobby to start. But so Hollywood, hybrid. I almost lost. I was like, we just knew what the game mode was, and I've forgotten that 20 seconds. So, and it's going to be Gibralfie on the attack first. They do have that ball and that diva, like we said earlier, trying to get that dive, make it work, get up on the high ground, and force them off.
Now, Gibralfie knows what I think. I think that you really need a diva, so they're just looking for picks here. They're looking for a lot of damage. The zone's going to have to come up in off of these sniper shots and try to do as much as possible. Ian going really low, actually gets taken down by the zone. Look at that. Just as I was saying, they ended up relying on that Digger. He's going to take a lot of damage here, but Gibralfie up and looking good taking this point if they're able to capitalize.
Yes, and Cobalt, they moved up there trying to get it, but then they left somebody out in the back in the zone getting that early pick. And as we said, you know, it's a little bit of a fast pace sometimes, but it's also waiting and choosing and striking. But Pajolo coming up big, that Zarya, they don't seem to have the best answer for Pajolo right now. So despite them getting that early pick and now Ewar joining, it doesn't seem that Gibralfie is going to be able to get this right now.
Yeah, we see, this is why I don't like this style of composition. I think the Zenyatta is better than the Baptiste. I see the Zenyatta is better than the Baptiste. We see Dan coming up on that Bob here, but I really like to see Sir King Jared on the Tracer here.
So a few ults coming up here for the attackers. Do have, but zone gets hacked, but a Bob and the amplification for the side of the attackers, and then the defense, you got that amplification coming out right now, looking to stall. And really, it's just, that's a smart way to play it. That amplification comes out, it's called Get Out. But look at that Shatter, though. What a way to start this fight.
Yeah, we see Bob going in early, trades for Shatter. Not exactly how you want to get that Bob, but make space with it anyway. We see Dan taking out E&W Noctara with a big amplification matrix. Takes away so much space from Fireteam Cobalt. Eeyore is getting pressured down, is going to take a lot of damage here. Arietta is out for blood on this Brigitte. Just swinging in, doing as much damage, even challenging Reinhardt. And we see they find a good opportunity. Great play by Noctara. You don't always see the supports winning team fights, and it's sometimes hard to tell, but that amplification matrix was absolutely instrumental in getting his team into position.
And it surely shows how deadly a Baptiste can be if left alone. And I mean, it was such a, when that character came about, the utility of the character was so beautiful. I mean, the high ground and moving around, Dan finding that early pick, and it seems like they're wanting to keep this aggression going. And really, Fireteam Cobalt's going to have to be very careful here, because if they get staggered at this point, that payload's going to keep rolling through. And I think this is the middle section of Hollywood is a very, very difficult point to push sometimes because of the high ground advantage. But right now, Gibralfie's doing a good job at just pushing them around.
Yeah, Gibralfie's trying to make me say, eat our words, coach. We're going to play this composition, not how you told us to play it, but how we want to play it. If it's working for him, it's working for him. Cirking Jared goes for an early dragon, doesn't get what he's looking for, and actually goes down for it. Diggory takes out Malarkey, Dan takes out Pajolo, Eeyore's coming back, answers it with Dan, but Dan's gonna get that Bob on the point, which is just gonna clean up the fight.
So just like that, and there's a few kills coming in, but Gibralfie's just, they keep pushing. And it seems like the alt economy isn't rich right now, but that's okay. I mean, 2 minutes, 50 seconds, that's not bad to have a handful more pushes. But coming up into this next fight, you're going to have the minefield, self-destruct, and just about amplification for the side. Oh, I'm sorry, I flipped that around. Yes, the attackers have the minefield, the self-destruct, and the amplification, so they should be able to get this fight pretty fast.
We've seen Chaos do a good job 1v1ing Cirking Jared here. E&W takes his counterpart in Dan, so both DPS down for Watchpoint Gibralfie. Chaos is going to take out Noctara, but Watchpoint Gibralfie still pressuring the point, doing a good job of using their tanks as much as possible, and they might still get it here. We'll see if Arietta is able to use Brigitte to be able to push people off the point. Malarkey going down, Jelly coming in. I didn't think Watchpoint Gibralfie was going to be able to do it, but it looks like they're going to be able to clean up this fight.
They should be able to, but there comes the minefield and the the D.Va getting D-mech there. So all of a sudden defense, Cobalt's holding this fight right now. They don't seem to have an answer, but they got to clean up this fight here real quick because the defenders have the closest spawn. Looks like there they go, finally getting it. That was kind of scary there, Oblivion. I didn't think they were going to get it, and we're wasting a lot of time off that clock. But they still have 3 minutes to push through this, coming up on a pulse bomb about the minefield, so that's a pretty good time to get on this last point.
Yeah, we were really looking at a tough fight. Wow. Cirking Jared taking out Jelly. Jelly just on that high ground, forced out by the tanks. Really good eyes by Cirking Jared to come up and follow up on that damage here, knowing that the Baptiste didn't have his immortality field. But yeah, no, we see those teams really going back and forth there. It looked several times like both teams had flipped the fight, but Gibralfie coming out on top.
It was so confusing there, I flipped my words around now. So 2:30, here comes Dragons coming in here from the side of Cobalt. But the Pulse Bomb coming in, taking out Jelly, doing a good job of keeping this aggression from Gibralfie going. And 2:20, there's another kill, Jared popping off, and the Bob's coming in. This is looking pretty good, Oblivion, for Gibralfie right now.
Yeah, you know, one of the sayings that Gibralfie has is that Bob is Dan's best hero, and it really is true. His Bob placement's great. It always gets a lot of kills. You see it cleaning up this fight. With Arietta on that Brigitte and the cart, it's going to be really difficult to contest. We see the stun coming out in E&W, and yeah, they're not able to touch the cart.
It seemed like a little bit of a miscommunication there. I couldn't tell if somebody was trying to wait there and the Tracer recalled. They did what they could, but it looks like they seemed like somebody could have touched, but maybe not. It was one of those close things. But however, Gibralfie putting up the damage there, 155 pushing all the way. And so now you got to think that Gibralfie has stepped up quite a bit. So I can see that this match is definitely going to be a close one.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. We see them, we see Gibralfie really playing to their strengths here, playing to that Wrecking Ball comp, making up for the mistakes they made on last map where they weren't quite finding those right spots to go in. This time, they're taking those spots, making space, putting out the damage whenever Cobalt is under pressure, getting the picks they need, and moving the cart forward. So they're doing everything right. They've figured it out, changed up what they needed to change up from last time. So it's going to be up to Cobalt to take a deep breath, try to figure out how they're going to deal with this Wrecking Ball on the side of Gibralfie.
Well, they've been there and they've done that before. I mean, we take a look at Hanamura last night, anybody that joined the Limit Break stream. And, I mean, you had Phoenix just be really aggressive, but they managed to come back. So that just shows that Overwatch a lot of times is a game, even though despite something being very, very bad, you can come back and you can take advantage of that. So it looks like they're going pretty aggressive as we know that Cobalt is an aggressive team, and they're going with that brawl style.
All Alright, we see Ihor speeding onto the point with Pajolo here, taking as much space as they can. Noctara is actually going to take out Ihor though, and it's big. Cobalt actually doesn't get a tick there before Gibralfie is able to start coming with the pick, so we're going to see Gibralfie just kind of cleaning up the last members of Cobalt here. May and Lucio maybe going to get out here, but no, Ethan's going to go down, so it's just Malarkey going to have to speed away on that. Lucio might actually get chased down by the zone here. No.
Ooh, that was close. That was a good escape.
Thinks better of it here, but great first fight for Gibralfie.
It just shows that sometimes speed is not always the answer. I mean, Eeyore and Bajolo got on that really, really fast, pushing on to the point, the whole team, but that high ground just shows, I mean, sometimes it's okay to give up a little bit of space and then pick and choose your strike. So on this attack here, you look at the ult economy, it isn't that strong right now for the side of Cobalt, and I guess they're both kind of equal, but Dan getting that early pick, that should open up this fight for Gibralfie.
Yeah, we see Sir King Jared open up on that Dragon Strike, not going to get anything, actually goes down to Chaos. So it's an even fight right now. Both teams' respawns about the same. Defense still on the high ground here. We see Cobalt going to force him off of the high ground. If Dan doesn't move out quick, he's going to get beaten down by Ihor on this Reinhardt. Ihor actually takes out Arietta trying to protect her backline. Ihor just going ham on the backline of Watchpoint Gibralfie. Actually goes down to Noctara though with that immortality field. The zone picks up 3 more. The zone coming up. What? That was a very, very difficult fight for Watchpoint Gibraltie.
That came out of nowhere. That was insane. A 4-man. Where does that come from? You just, hey, you know, pull out my pocket. Hey, by the way, here's a 4K for you in your face.
Yeah, that was a really clutch play. That point was really looking like it was going to go on the side of Cobalt. Cobalt did not even get a tick there, though, despite how much progress they were able to make in that fight and how well it was going for them.
I'll say Oblivion coming up, though, in this attack. You got Eeyore, Bajolo, Chaos. You got almost about all the ults. There's the sound barrier coming in, despite that flux, not able to find anything. There's an EMP looking to find it, but Jared getting that first kill. There's a big slam from Eeyore looking to clean this up. And now Gibralfie's looking in a really good position. Or actually, I'm sorry, Cobalt looking in a really good position to take this fight. And they're doing it. I mean, aggressive, using ults, and when in doubt, when you have the ults, just press Q and see what happens.
Yeah, I think that EMP from Chaos, even though Chaos got punished for it by Sir King Jared, was still taken down. Oh, it looks like Gibralfie may try to recontest here with the Bob. Coming in with Bob and Rally, 2 really good ultimates, but Bob is going to get hacked. Going to do almost nothing, and now Gibralfie used 2 ults, nothing to show for it, is in a really bad position.
They're in a really bad, I mean, that's the one thing that you do not want to happen on the high ground. The second point, and the grab coming in, picking up 2 kills here. This is not good, looking good, Oblivion. They're going to have time to recontest here eventually, but the cart, it's almost going to start to get through that area that's the toughest, so a really good time here. Now, Gibralfie, they had a little bit of a better time coming in here on this attack. Really, it's pretty close, but they had just a little bit more. So when they retake this, they're going to have a few ults coming in here, Minefield and the amplification. Let's see if they can hold it.
Yeah, I think Minefield is really going to be key for Watchpoint Gibralfie. They're going to have to get an early pick with it. You see the zone going in, getting hit with this blizzard, so he's going to get frozen up, but he does manage to Minefield the cart. Visual is going to take out the immortality field of Noctara as Chaos is going to take out his counterpart, Sir King Jared. Ian is going to take out the zone on the Wrecking Ball, frozen up, not able to do anything, and Cobalt is just taking down Watchpoint Gibralfie kill by kill here, and Gibralfie may have a tough time recontesting this point.
That's going to be tough. I mean, they do have a few ults, amplification coming in, and the Bob still. They got to be quick, and it looks like they're trying to go out already. But a good Maywall there, and I don't know if anybody's going to be able to touch now. You got to be careful. EMP coming in there. Bob does get on to stall that, but a lot of ults being used here. You got to win this fight. If you really want to shut down Cobalt, you got to win.
Yeah, we see a Bob come out, doesn't get anything, but does a lot of damage to Cobalt here. Dan is going to take out Jelly's immortality field. Jelly is going to respond with an amplification base shooter's own. Huge bomb by Diggory.
Oh, with the Maywall!
Great Maywall by Ian W, but it still goes down to Dan. The zoning potential of that bomb, even though it didn't get anything, just forced Cobalt out of a good position. Now Dan is just going to clean up this fight.
Dan with 3 kills there, and Diggory doing a good job as well. I mean, that's crazy. All of a sudden, you thought that Cobalt was going to get that, and Gibralfie just put down their foot, and they're going to have a Pulse Bomb and the Brigida a rally coming up to this next fight with the Mines, and all of a sudden, that just seemed like a lot of ults being used by Cobalt, and it just did not go in their favor.
Yeah, Cobalt does have Pajolo's Graviton Surge. If Pajolo is able to land this without them getting picked, oh, we see a huge Pulse Bomb here. Gets nothing. Good stick, but great reaction by Cobalt to be able to take it out. The zone is going to get actually caught on this Wrecking Ball rollout. We see Pajolo catch Noctara out of position. Circling Jared is going to take out Jelly for it, so Cobalt's still up, but Gibralfie not out of it yet. We're going to have to see this minefield come out and do a lot of things, although get pushed away from the cart, so he's not actually able to cover the whole thing. Huge Shatter comes out, hits Circling Jared, and hits the zone. Whole backline going down for Watchpoint Gibralfie. Cobalt looks like they're going to be able to take this point.
They finally do, and just before overtime, which means they're not going to have much, already less time on that cart. It's going to be pretty difficult. This is not always easy sometimes to be able to push through this position. And you have the sound barrier and an EMP coming up. The EMP is what's going to make and break this fight. Chaos has came in the clutch before, but it has to deliver. Because with a minute 18, you're going to have 2 pushes. You maybe could have 3 if you die now, but it's going to really be 2 pushes, which puts the pressure on.
Worst comes to worst for Gibralfie here. If they're able to stall the cart almost at all, they're looking at worst a draw. If they're able to get Cobalt's time to 0 on this map, I know they're looking to win it, but they still have that option in the bank here. You see Bob coming out early from Dan. Chaos is going to take out Noctara in the backline though, so one of the supports is down, and we see Dan's Bob is going to go down too, so fight is up right now for Cobalt as they're going to move in, EMP at the ready.
And that's exactly what they wanted. A few ults there being used by the side of Gibralfie, but it didn't find anything. Cobalt moved in with that EMP, and Pajolo getting the kill on Arietta, doing a great job. And they're cleaning, but look out for the self-destruct. You gotta hide. Nobody dying from it. And the attackers. But the Blizzard coming in clutch, not really finding anybody. Getting real lucky there. And Cobalt is still moving, but it's a back and forth fight here.
It's a huge Graviton Surge by Pajolo, but whether they're able to follow up on it or not is going to be the question, and looks like Ihor is going to come in on this Reinhardt, trying to do as much as he can, but Bob is much better than Reinhardt, and Bob has teammates there at the point right now, and that's going to be it. Gibralfie taking the second map on Hybrid here.
So a 1-to-1 match, Gibralfie coming back and tying it up, and that's exactly what we saw last night by these teams. One team gets it going, but the other team says, hey, guess what? I'm competing too in this tournament. And
now, the zone here is 2 for 2 on play of the game.
It's deadly. I mean, yeah, it's incredible. I mean, it works. It was the environmental on the first time, is that right?
Yeah, and just a beautiful minefield there. Doing a really good job at cementing their defense, making several minutes of time for them, ultimately setting up for that last point where they were able to secure it. So great play by Gibralfie there, playing into their strengths, trying to catch Cobalt off guard a little bit, and you see Cobalt had a lot of good, strong pushes, but not quite able to deal with Gibralfie as they would have liked.
So very, very exciting. I thought for sure that Cobalt was going to be able to push it there at the end, but the problem is when you just don't have that much time, it becomes difficult. I don't care what team, who you are, whatever. It is not always easy to push that in the last couple of minutes. So it looks like we're taking a small another break, but of course the casters are going to stay on here. Well, Wood Tier, are you still there?
I am definitely back. I am sitting here. I am doing my best to run this production. I am nowhere near what Cajun is, but we've got a production going. So what did you think
about that? What do you think about the match so far tonight?
The match so far has been absolutely awesome. A lot of what we saw yesterday was the Zarya on the side of Pajolo doing a lot of work. If those fights go long, the Zarya carries. The zone has been putting up some numbers, some seriously explosive plays. But one of the people that I've been following a lot is Dan. Dan puts in work on the Ashe.
A lot, and there was big. I mean, there was triple kills. There was a lot being done, but it's amazing. And Dan was doing work on that first map, but it's incredible that even despite getting some kills, sometimes it doesn't always assure the fight win. But clearly on Hollywood, it did mean the fight win a lot of times.
Yeah, I mean,
Dan, really strong. Oh,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
really strong on those. Really strong on those hit scans. You see, he's gonna play a lot of Ash and Pre. Definitely two of his strongest characters, and he goes anywhere from quietly dealing a good amount of damage to tanks to just showing up 3-4Ks in the kill feed. So, he really does a lot of the heavy lifting for Watchpoint Gibralfie. They count on him as a DPS, and he delivers for them.
So yeah, I just wanted to throw Wood Tier back into this conversation. Always like the third man here, running the productions tonight, ladies and gentlemen, doing a great job. And
Yeah.
So of course the next map we go to will be an escort map, and of course if you don't know what that means, aka payload, you're pushing a cart all the way to the end of the map, and we saw Cobalt last night do a pretty good job on that. They had a little bit of trouble on Route 66, and going back to Route 66, that shows about 50% of the time. So it's amazing that a lot of maps that I'm saying tonight, which are not seeing them. I mean, it's great to have variety, but it's kind of crazy how some maps. I guess it depends on the meta and what people like, but so many maps to be chose like in a common sequence is like crazy. I find that always being a thing in a lot of metas.
Yeah, I really like the Hollywood pick out of Gibralfie. So it's going to be interesting how Cobalt wants to approach going into the payload map. They know that their strength is on those Reinhardt comps. Pajolo is a really strong Zarya player, and that's one of the things that they like to do. Another one of the compositions that they really like to go for is the Winston Zarya. So we could see a map that plays into those strengths. They may try to play a map that boxes in Gibralfie and makes it so it might be difficult to run this Wrecking Ball composition because, like we said, the zone's just putting up those numbers, doing a lot of work for them. So making it difficult for Gibralfie to be able to play that composition, making them uncomfortable, might be a good way to fight back.
Absolutely. So I'm really expecting to see the 66, and I think I looked down at the chat. That's funny. The chat. I don't know if we can see the chat on stream, but I like that. Let's be original and go 66.
Yeah, I mean, Pajolo just kind of taking the words right out of our mouths here, but gonna see them try the Route 66. I imagine that means then that they're gonna play a Zarya Winston position of some kind. Could try to brawl, although it can be difficult to get to those high grounds using Reinhardt, but you never know. They have a couple different strengths that they can play to. So we'll see what Gibralfie ends up responding to in kind.
I expect to see a little bit of a ball composition come in this map, and a lot of teams have been using that wrecking ball and the diva, a little bit of the dive. And that's a big thing that's always been a thing on Route 66 is you want to control that high ground, but you want to have the defense forcing them off the top and just pushing them back. So I really do expect to see it.
Yeah, Route 66 is one of the more interesting maps as far as especially the first point is concerned. You see second point and last point, they can be pretty similar to some other maps, but that first point, the choke that you come in from isn't a super traditional choke, so it's pretty wide. The most striking thing is that defender's high ground on top of the big Earls, right? They get to set up in a really strong position overlooking the corner. You have several angles that you can see where the attackers are going to come in from. So classically, this map rewards teams who are able to be creative and think on their feet and who can pressure multiple different angles on the attack and make it so the defenders can't use their advantageous position on top of big Earls to be able to win fights.
Big Earls, everybody going there. They got the best prices in town. That's why that train wrecked over there. The train was going so fast they had to get to Big Earl's, and it just exploded.
I actually think I saw that in one of the shorts. Was it the McCree short where
Yeah.
where he went into Big Earl's and met Ash there, and I think they had a coffee or something like that. It's been a couple of years, but
well, it wasn't in Big Earl's, but I do like that you're including Big Earl's.
Yeah, well, I mean, sure, it looked like it was in Panorama Diner over here, but we all know it's Big Earl's, so
Yeah, no sign. I mean, it didn't say, So
yeah.
Getting ready to go and have the Winston, and really a Winston Zarya that is pretty interesting to go. Of course, that can work in a dive composition. Basically, a Winston jumps in there, bubble that Winston, keep him alive. But then you see a Sigma and a Wrecking Ball. There's a lot of interesting compositions going on Oblivion right now.
Yeah, like I said, for Fireteam Cobalt here, they really like this Winston Zarya. They like to keep Pajolo on the Zarya. They love having that consistent source of damage. They're using DPS that gives them multiple angles of threat. Chaos is going to be on the Soldier 76, just trying to pump in damage from long range, as well as Ian. So I think they're set up pretty well, although the defense here from Gibralfie equally is threatening. That Sigma's going to be able to do a lot of damage at a lot of different angles, while Zone kind of throws Cobalt out of position.
So 333 making good progress, not really pushing off, but Chaos getting the early Helix rocket to take out Jared. So that's 6v5 in this, but Dan coming right back, so puts them in it. And I think right now just what they're trying to do is just put the pressure on, but that may have been a costly mistake as Eeyore goes up there getting smacked by Arietta.
Yeah, you see, Eeyore doesn't quite have enough support to be able to stay alive on that high ground. Pajolo's still pushing the cart with the help of Jelly, but they are going to be descended on quickly by Gibralfie here. Pajolo's going to take out Arietta for his trouble. Still up, still doing a lot of damage. You got to kill this Zarya real fast. Luckily for Watchpoint Gibralfie, Pajolo doesn't leave with a ton of ult charge. An early Graviton Surge can really mess things up on the defense, so does a good job of getting to him before he got too much out of it, but still lost a break.
Really quick, going back in that fight, I saw Jelly just escape and they left Pajolo to die there. It was almost like Mario jumping off of Yoshi, throwing him off the cliff, to go up to the next one. It's pretty funny, the tactic there, but you got to keep those healers up no matter what. So here comes the aggression again by Cobalt, looking to find anything, but Dan denying it already, and the Bob coming in. This attack, just as soon as it started, may be ending right away.
Yeah, we see the Bob actually in a position where he's not able to shoot anyone. He's not looking over the cart to shoot at the tanks here, so doesn't actually apply a whole lot of pressure. Circling Jared, though, is going to take out Chaos. Jelly ends up going down 2 for the damage here. Eeyore is going to take out Diggory, so it's an even fight on both sides. Eeyore is in the backline doing a lot of damage to Watchpoint Gibralfie. They're going to have to stabilize from this Winston here, and it looks like they might be able to. They still have control of the high ground, and Dan is going to take out Malarkey. Pajolo gets hit by a pile driver by the Zone, takes a lot of damage, able to get the Mega Pack. We see Chaos come out with a Tactical Visor. This could be big, and we see the Graviton Surge right behind a wall. It's going to do so much damage to Watchpoint Gibralfie, and Cobalt's able to turn this fight, use their ultimates decisively, and they're going to be able to clean up here.
Yeah, despite that amplification coming up by Noctara, didn't really find anything. And that's the thing, sometimes you just have to put the pressure on the teams, back them up, and throw them out. So 345, pretty good time coming into here. And there's this point specifically on Route 66 is a hit and miss. It's hard to take that high ground, but if you can get it early and keep that aggression, which Cobalt's doing so well right now, they shouldn't have any problem taking this. But they got a handful of ults coming into this next fight to deal with.
Yeah, it's gonna really matter how Malarkey is able to use this Transcendence to keep her team alive. It does that, counters Diggory's flux here. We're gonna see Arietta is gonna throw out the rally here, try to keep her team alive. Bob is gonna come out, push Cobalt off the point, but not gonna deal a whole lot of damage himself. The Zone goes in, takes out Pajolo with a big minefield, doesn't get anyone else, but he might not need to, although Arietta is gonna be 4v1'd here, gets caught out alone, and Malarkey takes out Cirking Jared coming down, so it's gonna be an even fight again.
Just like that, I thought the attackers were done, but really, Cobalt's doing a good job at just there's all these 1v1 fights, and Cobalt's winning. Dan gets that pick there, but still, despite all the efforts from the defense, Cobalt is still pushing Gibralfie back, and 233 is still a decent time as they're rolling. and there should be an engagement here. It's just kind of waiting. I expect a rally to come out here, and that tack visor coming in real close. Oh, but the pulse bomb! Jared says, your push is done, son. And so 218, and they're kind of being stopped onto that point right now, but I expect that Cobalt can still keep it going right now.
Yeah, Pajolo is going to lose mech. They are going to try to stabilize using ults here, but it could be tough. They are still down on people. We see Bob is going to force out Chaos there, so Chaos is not going to be able to get anything out of that tactical visor. Diggory takes out Pajolo, who was demech'd. Jelly doesn't really get all that much out of his rally that came out a couple seconds ago, and we see Watchpoint Gibralfie stabilizing on second point. Cobalt's still in a good position, but without ults, it may be difficult for them to take it in this fight.
So 140 unable to do that, and as we're saying, just a few ults there. It didn't seem like Chaos may have tried to stabilize, maybe try to, but I think probably could have held on to that tack visor coming into that fight. So they're not really going to have too much, going to have a transcendence when they get back, and the pulse bomb here, but they still got to deal with that minefield, and exactly when I say that, there it is, a good one. The zone coming in clutch for the third game now.
Yeah, we see Arietta getting pressured out, but great support by her team, able to keep her up. Great immortality field coming up by Noctara, and then the zone coming back in with the minefield is actually able to flip that aggression from Cobalt, use it against them, and split their team, who was trying to take out the Brig on the opposite side. So great hold for Gibralfie. Not a whole lot of ults here for Cobalt coming, just the Transcendence and most likely the Primal Rage going to be in this fight, but Dan and Arietta both have ults, so this is going to be a really difficult fight to win from the ult side, so Cobalt's going to have to do something big here in the neutral fight.
Absolutely, and with 25 seconds, you're getting in this awkward phase of really only having one big fight. You may be able to touch after this, but they're really setting up and hoping to win this. The Primal coming out there and the Transcendence looking to be aggressive, but despite that, Arietta finding the kill on ENW. That is a huge play, and now Dan coming up here. Cobalt is running out of options, and Gibralfie doing such a great job here, and that's going to be it. They can stall, but Gibralfie just having a clutch defense there. I mean, it just seemed that on the side of Cobalt, they just had a few miscues on the ultimates, and I think that's really what separated a lot of this second point.
Yeah, and you see a little bit of almost communication issues coming out of Fireteam Cobalt there. There were several times where they had isolated someone, but weren't able to finish them off, and then they just Watchpoint Gibralfie was able to flip that on them several times. You see Arietta got hacked by ENW, could have lost that fight to the Sombra, but calls out far away from the fight, mind you, calls out for help. Sir King Jared comes, helps her take that 1v1, and you see you see that happening several times from Watchpoint Gibralfie. So really good communication, really good peeling there, which is something that's very important for this composition, is making sure that your mobile characters can come help your backline when they're pressured, and it's just a really solid understanding of how to make that play style, and Cobalt is going to have to play a little bit slower here, take a few more calculations, and they're just going to have to try to look for those opportunities and not force it too hard.
Yeah, and usually what happens a lot of times with the Cobalt is, you know, they're good when they're making the other team force those mistakes. So, and they do have that Sigma coming out with the Wrecking Ball again. They should be able just to force Gibralfie here to make the mistakes. But then again, I mean, Jared has been tight, and Dan, the DPS duo and the zone have just been really lighting it up, and it's hard to contain that.
Yeah, we're going to have to see. We see Jared is going to push in, just try to get as much space as he can. Ehord takes a little bit of damage, but he's on the Wrecking Ball. He'll be okay. The zone looking to get into position. Dan is going to take out Ian in the middle of the team. Huge play. Ian is going to get rezzed by Malarkey. Piledriver's going down on point. Ian is going to take out Sir King Jared. Dan takes out Jelly. Dan just taking people out left and right here. is getting pressured down a little bit, but not too much that he can't take the duel against ENW. ENW is going to get hit by the Dynamite, so on fire right now, taking damage. Fight is about even for both teams. Zone is going to go in with a pile driver, catches out Malarkey. Malarkey going down to the zone. Great play there. Good initiation. Gibralfie is going to follow up on that. Diggory takes out Chaos. We see Pajolo under fire in a very literal sense, getting healed up by Jelly, but not all that much that he's going to be able to do about it. Bob is in now. Bob takes out one, but he's kind of looking around. Not much else to shoot at.
And they just keep rolling. I mean, that was quite a bit of a long fight. And once again, a really good time. I mean, we thought 3:45 was good. It's going to be probably about close, maybe a little higher. And they do get to contest on somehow with 0.01, but nobody's on that cart there. Is anybody going to be able to push it? And Diggory finding that kill clutch here. They are still stalling. What an incredible stall effort. Somehow able to get it. And they got to find the kills here. That minefield throwing things up. And the zone coming in with a 3-man. Unbelievable work from the side of Gibralfie. And the zone, look at that Oblivion. Absolutely a menace. That is MVP of the match so far. Unbelievable.
I'm telling you what, we have ice cream nights, and well, we have ice cream. You know, whenever your soccer team all goes to the Dairy Queen or the Brahms or whatever.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing. And I don't know who's paying for the ice cream, but it sure as heck is not the zone.
Absolutely. They're at least carrying their share a little bit more right now. So, and then Dan also doing such a great job this match, and that I think is really a big key, but ENW finding that kill. Dan, they are getting the early picks, and Gibralfie is making it easy, and that's what's separating. But hang on. Cobalt has a few answers up their sleeve as Majolo getting that kill, 3:38 left on that clock. And here comes that tack visor by Chaos looking to finish up this fight. And it looks like they're going to do that just nicely with 3:30 left.
Yeah, I mean, talk about Dan and his picks. Dan circling Jared, really good DPS duo. But ENW is able to follow up on those aggressive plays and really punish them. We see Chaos and ENW time and time again are punishing those plays that are just too aggressive, so they do a good job trading out, and then the tanks just are able to take the point back. Chaos uses a good ult. We see ENW take out Dan here, so it looks like Ralphie's just going to have to back up after Jelly uses that amplification matrix.
So you know what's interesting is we've seen this with both teams, and not just the one, but both teams, once they hit that point, they struggle a bit. It's like they have this momentum, and they get a little too excited, or they make a few crucial errors. Or it's just the fact that the defense steps up so clutch. Now on this attack, they're going to have the minefield, they're going to have self-destruct, pulse bomb, everything except for the rally. And the defense really doesn't have much to answer that at all.
Yeah, we see Ehor is going to minefield behind the cart, but all of Gibralfie has already pushed into the Zed's garage here. Malarkey is going to take out Dan with the Glock here, but Dan does get the Bob out, so Bob is just going to be putting in tons of damage. The zone managed to take out Pajolo, zone managed to take out Malarkey. Huge plays coming out from Watchpoint Gibralfie, and it's going to be really difficult for Cobalt to defend this point. Only 20 meters or so left for the defense. Noctara punches Chaos in the face.
Yeah, 2 minutes on the clock. They will have one more touch, but they're going to have to be quick here. And they really are going to have to be quick. Somebody might be able to touch, and here comes Ehor out, getting back onto that point. They got to win this, but here comes the self-destruct. Look at it going in there. Immortality saving them, and right now Chaos starting with it, but the kills are still coming out for Gibralfie right now. Arietta doing a good job getting that kill, but look out, Chaos has the tack visor looking to find anything, but it looks like they're not really finding anything at the moment, and so far Gibralfie is still in this fight winning.
You know, we see a really big minefield early on from the zone here. Doesn't actually get what he wants, and we see actually a really big bomb by Pajolo. It didn't pick up any kills, but it cleared the minefield. They weren't able to really get on that point at all until that minefield was cleared, and they were able to split up the point in such a way that made it so Gibralfie just had to lose people and then back up. So actually a really, really good recontest by Cobalt there. So
55 seconds on the clock, about 2 pushes, maybe 1, and It's extremely close. This could go either way. The attackers have a pulse bomb and an amplification, and that's just about it at the moment. And here comes the minefield out from Eeyore. It doesn't find anything right now, but the zone coming in clean, getting that kill, getting the work done. And here comes Bob, and the attacker's looking. Gibralfie's looking to find the answers, but Eeyore stepping up and getting a kill there, knocked.
We see Bob in the backline is going to clear out a lot of space for Gibralfie, but they are still fighting. Cobalt still fighting tooth and nail. Ian taking down 2, doing so much. Shirking Jared comes up, huge pick on the Mercy. Dan is going to take out Ian. That is a lot of heavy lifting down for Cobalt right now. Pajolo just going to clear out the cart, try to buy a bit of space with this bomb. We see Chaos coming out on the Reaper, a lot of front-loaded damage, so he's going to be able to stick to that cart and just push Gibralfie off. Gibralfie's going to have to be able to touch. Coming up on tank ults, Minefield and Diva Bomb coming up, so this Minefield could be the deciding factor here. Again, we see Diggory coming out with a bomb, huge, pushes away Cobalt, doesn't catch anything, but Gibralfie up. You see a Minefield come out, Chaos is going to go down to it. Is Cobalt going to be able to touch this? Noctara's going to take out Malarkey, and it's just ENW left on the point. No, they won't be able to take it.
And they do it. Gibralfie coming back, winning that map. That's such a huge comeback into this game. And remember, Cobalt won the first map, and Gibralfie is just finding their stride right now.
You know, we're seeing some really clutch plays coming out from both teams, and it's really a big question and answer, right? As we see huge Graviton Surge come out, Pajolo, one of the reasons why Fireteam Cobalt really loves to play him on that Zarya. But you see both teams just making really big, really clever plays, and they're just trading these back and forth, even team fight to team fight or even mid-team fight. So they're really forcing each other to be on their best, to make the best of the situations they have, and to keep each other on their toes, because neither team is giving up an inch here. And it's Gibralfie's coming up with a couple more of these clutch plays. You think of everything that the zone does, really. But Cobalt's just going to have to find a couple more opportunities, is going to have to find a couple more ways to use the crowbar to open the door here on Gibralfie and force a map 5.
And I mean, they're just looking great right now, and they're being that aggressive. It's kind of what we always said about Cobalt coming back to the match. They have the aggression, and they love doing it, but it's all about finding the right times to do it. And a lot of these teams we've seen, the other teams are being that aggressive and taking that style and really seeing like that's what needs to be done. So we move on to map 4 with Gibralfie in the lead 2-1, and we go to Assault, and that's everybody's favorite map type, right?
It is certainly a map type in the game, and some people like playing Overwatch.
It is that, yes. And it's Hanamura again, which is 53% of the time people picking that map. A lot of people love it. It's a good solid map, and of course, as we saw, and Wood Tier Guru can come back in here for a moment. That match was insane last night. How long did it last on this map? I mean, we had Route 66 that lasted like 20 minutes, and then you get this map lasting forever. It was insane last night how long those lasted.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That was we referred to it as an 11 CP last night. It was only a 4 CP, but it was a good time. But we're going back to Hanamura, and while they're asking us if we are ready, why don't we get into a little bit of criticism? Oblivion, what are you noticing? Who do you want to pick apart?
Cool boy. So I think it's a bit easier to go after Cobalt here, right? Because they are not playing to the flow of the game as well as they could be. And let me explain that a little bit, because that's sort of nebulous, but they're exposing themselves a little bit too much to Gibralfie. They're going in at the wrong times, and we see it punishing them a lot, and it's no individual player that's really doing it too much, but just a little bit of position, a little bit of error is going to get caught by Gibralfie. So the things that we need Cobalt to do is to crispen up their play, is to make sure whenever they take those aggressive pushes, that they aren't just throwing their health into Gibralfie's ult pools, because we've seen that on several maps here where they're just not quite doing what they need to do. They're taking too much damage when they don't need to be. So one of the things that Cobalt's really going to need to do here is just crispen up that play, make sure that they're playing a more fundamentally solid game of Overwatch.
Absolutely. We'll get right into this game, and we'll get your criticisms of Gibralfie after this.
So back into it here, and looks like Fireteam Cobalt on the attack first, taking the classic Symmetra teleport to the point. So Dan coming up big, and Eeyore actually finding a pin, so it's an even 5v5 fight coming into here. And right now, Cobalt's doing a good job, Chaos getting the kill of pushing them off the point. And they already have a tick and a half, so no matter what happens, it's a good push. But now it looks like they're going to get this. What an opening attack, Oblivion. Going to have a great time.
A really big fan of the Symmetra strategies. Chaos is a very good Reaper. ENW, really good on the utility DPS like Symmetra and Mei. A tank player originally, so you see that really coming out. They're going to speed onto the point here, take as much space as possible, actually go after the backline. Circling Jared is going to answer by taking out Jelly, although Arietta is going to be punished, and see the charge almost hit Pet here.
And ENW might get caught there. That might be a really bad mistake, and now the zone taking advantage of it. ENW getting separated from the team. And just when it seemed to be good, they might be out of answers already. Dan finding a kill. Dan coming with a two-man! Coming up clutch, finding these kills. And it's quite unfortunate because, I mean, it was good. Not too much was used there. And there's nothing wrong with pushing on to that point, being aggressive. But despite all that work, they're not going to get any ticks. And the defense is going to feel pretty good about that hold.
Yeah, you see a good rotation by Fireteam Cobalt here, going around the backside, using that speed boost to get into the back line of Gibralfie here, but Circling Jared able to take a deep breath, not fold under the pressure, do what he needed to do, got a really good opening pick, and that set up the fight for Gibralfie.
And here they go again. The Bob coming in, and now Zone with the double kill, the triple kill, and Bob, both of them clearing this out. Dan and the Zone. Oh my goodness, that is insane. So all of a sudden, you know, Fireteam Cobalt said, "Hey, I'm going to pull a fast one," and the classic "No you," Gibralfie sent it right back to him. Wow, what a hold there.
Yeah, we see Dan use that Bob. Sees a great opportunity, gets one kill. The zone says, no, that's not happening here. I'm not going to lose player of the match, so I'm going to have to put in a good minefield. We see ENW is going to put out a wall here. Circling Jared is going to use Dragons to split Fireteam Cobalt, but not going to get any kills with it. Dan is going to take out Jelly, though, even through that wall, and we see Pet sustaining his team on the point, using that ult. Circling Jared's going to take out Chaos, but it looks like Fireteam Cobalt has a good hold on this point.
There's the grab coming in, 352 in the sound barrier, looking to get this, but here comes a clutch flux coming in from Diggory, looking to find it, the zone getting a kill, and despite that, once again, still cannot get it. However, they almost got the 3 ticks, 338. There's nothing wrong with this, and right now, I'm really digging this aggression. But what I'm really admiring right now is the fact that Gibralfie is still holding this point. I'm only going to have the minefield and coming up on a rally here, so not too much, but I mean, impressive work being done by the defense.
Yeah, I would not be surprised here if Dan also managed to farm up that Bob before Cobalt was able to touch the point. So Gibralfie has the tools to be able to fight this, although huge teleporter, but Arietta is going to immediately respond by taking out ENW. Teleporter is going to be destroyed before Cobalt is able to get in. We see Dan just finishing up the kills here. Pajolo is on high charge, but is actually going to get taken out by the combination of Diggory and the zone.
And this is amazing work going on by the defense. And a lot of times when we see on second point Hanamura here, we're looking for a lot of using the high ground. And that's the problem. Although the fact that Cobalt is doing such a great job on these attacks, they're coming up short because Sir King Jared or Dan or the Zone or just anybody hiding up on that high ground, they're doing a good job at collapsing on them, and it's so tough to beat that on a point like this. This is not an easy point to attack.
Yeah, we see 5 ults coming up by Watchpoint Gibralfie. They did a great job last fight, didn't have to invest any ults. We see the speed boost coming in on Diggory. Diggory is going to go out of the mech. We see a Dragon doesn't pick up anything. Sir King Jared is going to take out the Immortality Field. We see Pet. Huge Transcendence on the point, going to keep his whole team alive. Arietta does not get the healing because of the wall. Bob is on the point, but wall again by ENW, super big, is just going to do so much. Chaos taking people out, and no one from Gibralfie comes back and touches the point.
And it was a close fight there. That Sim wall coming in huge, and the Transcendence. I mean, just a lot of ults being used was really clutch. Now, 153, they still went all the way, which is still pretty good. However, I got to give it credit for Gibralfie for holding them for so long. I mean, we saw a situation that Cobalt was in yesterday where Phoenix came right in, Fireteam Phoenix, and they had like 4 minutes on the clock and got it right away. But they stepped up from yesterday, did so much better, and I mean, eventually it worked out for them. But if I was Gibralfie right now, I wouldn't be too concerned because a minute 53 is nothing to be like too crazy about. I mean, anything can happen in this fight.
Yeah, I wouldn't be incredibly sad about that defense. Thing to note is that, Cobalt took that with good time. They had 5+ minutes to take that point, so being able to grind, 3.5 minutes off that time is a pretty good defense. So, is a good job by Gibralfie, but Cobalt really gave themselves a lot of breathing room with that aggressive first point push. So they have a good opportunity here if they're able to put up a good defense of their own on first point, even if they don't make it, even if they don't stop them here. They can potentially hold Gibralfie at second or even just burn out their time. So a good opportunity from Cobalt here.
Absolutely. And we see that sim strat here. It comes again. A lot of teams like doing it. And it looks like right now Cobalt's a little separated. And Diggory getting Malarkey, already a healer, down. And see, it seemed like a little bit, despite the fact that they do get the kill there, them being separated, they caught him off guard. They caught him napping there. And great job by Gibralfie. And I mean, we might see just as good of a time here. Pretty close to it.
I mean, that was a really similar attack to what we saw with Cobalt. So, no ults coming up for either team yet. Gibralfie a little bit ahead, but not really going to have anything for at least until midway through this fight. So, we're going to have to see how Fireteam Cobalt responds. It looks like they are ready for that long teleporter, though.
And Oblivion, this is not deja vu, right? Or, I mean, this basically is. But this is a different round, right? This is not the same thing we just watched, because it almost feels like exactly what we just watched. It's incredible.
Yeah,
and
last I checked. Good rotations coming out from both teams. We're going to see Gibralfie end up dropping off the high ground, kind of falling low here. Arietta is going to get taken out by Pajolo. Huge shatter coming in from Ihor is going to get a lot, but we see Gibralfie is able to stay alive. The zone takes out Chaos, and Gibralfie still fighting for this point, using ultimates, trying to do it. Dan is going to take out Ihor. Sir King Jared takes out ENW, and all of a sudden, they actually have some hold on this point.
That's amazing, and I thought they were just going to waste a lot of ults, not find anything, but they're still doing it. The Transcendence does come in, but they still get a kill on Pajolo. And the attackers, right now, Gibralfie is still into this fight. 5 minutes looking to get that tick. They do. Trying to finish off these kills. Jelly goes down. Can anybody get on? 2 ticks now, and they're looking pretty promising. They keep the damage up. Good lord, there's nothing Cobalt can do at the moment. Can't find anything, and it's just stalling. And they are going to have a great time coming into this. 4 minutes and 46 seconds. Wow. It's not deja vu, because literally they did what Cobalt wanted to do. Incredible work.
Yeah. 4 minutes, 46 seconds for attack that's just a huge time bank. I mean, they added 46 seconds to what you get to take first, right? So really good job by Gibralfie in playing aggressive, in finding those clutch plays. Even though they were down, I wouldn't have expected them to win the fight. I really did think that they were burning ultimates, wasting ultimates, but they were able to catch Cobalt off guard. I think Cobalt probably thought, hey, look, we've taken out, we took out that Brig, you know, we're really up in this fight. But I think they kind of rested on their laurels a bit too much there and thought they had it. Were counting too many chickens before they were hatching.
And I think another key, as we saw last night, Cobalt, Fireteam Cobalt, they're lacking the aggression Oblivion. I mean, all they had to do, they were up in that fight. They just had to push into those ults. They stood there for too long. The sim wall was up, and they let them stay there. And I think if they really would have took the fight to them, they're just lacking the aggression. But that being said, 153 on the clock. Not too long. You're going to have a couple pushes with that. But as we see, the sim strat doesn't come out this time, believe it or not.
Well, we do see a sim strat on defense a little bit different coming out from Watchpoint Gibralfie. We're going to see the speed boost come up for Fireteam Cobalt. They're just going to take a long rotation, try to get as much space as possible before engaging onto the point here. See, NW is going to have to make is going to be kind of the difference maker here in that aerial DPS. So his fight against Dan is really going to be one of the deciding factors of this fight.
And here we go. We finally got the engagement. Looking to find something is Cobalt. And, oh, that's a big anti there by Pet, doing a good job. And they're really pushing him back. They got to find something. Despite that anti, E&W finding the pick on Arietta there. And they still keep this pressure coming. And a lot of people are low. This is back and forth. But the kills are coming in for the side of Fireteam Cobalt. And they still get this on their first attack. 55 seconds. That's still a pretty good time to be rolling in here and taking this point. Remember, we had a 4-4 draw yesterday, so, I mean, anything's possible, but they have to get that first point to keep the pressure on Watchpoint Gibralfie.
Yeah, if I'm Cobalt here, I'm really looking at least get one tick, make sure that you give yourself a lot of breathing room on defense. Looks like they're going to go through main, going to use a speed point to try to speed boost to try to get onto the point. Jelly's going to have to use this amplification matrix early to put pressure on, but we see Dan is going to teleport with that ult. We see ults coming out from both teams. Huge damage coming out. We see Ian take out Arietta, but Diggory's going to follow up in Ihor. So this is actually... Oh, Chaos is going to take out the zone. So this is up right now for Fireteam Cobalt. Huge Graviton Surge is going to take out Sir King Jared and Diggory. So it's only Pat and Dan on the point. Dan's going to have to pull up something here. Otherwise, his team could just lose it right here.
He's not going to be able to find it. 24 seconds left. They're still stalling it. Somehow the zone is still on there. They gotta stop him. There comes the Death Blossom in. 2 ticks, looking to find that 3 ticks. Here comes a self-destruct. Oh, barely the immortality saves it, and they get it. They get it.
They get it with time, too. That's incredible. What a great attack from Cobalt. That wasn't even 2 minutes. That wasn't even 2 minutes to get 2 ticks on Hanamura. What a decisive attack.
That is very rare, and you do not see that often, especially with time. It's one thing to get it in overtime, but 11 seconds on the clock is incredible. So now it comes down to Gibralfie if they can keep that pressure on. But regardless, even if they make it all the way to the end, we're going to see a round 3 in this map.
Yeah, I mean, what a spectacular attack by Cobalt there. You know, playing decisively, playing aggressively. So what they did on offense, we have to see them do on defense here, right?
Absolutely.
Huge, you know, really fast attack. They answered. They had a good first attack. Gibralfie answered with a great first attack, and then Cobalt came in with an excellent second attack. So, you know, it's really going to be up to the first team to play defense on this map. We've seen first point taken away so quickly every single time. So let's see if Gibralfie is able to keep it rolling, or if Cobalt can actually stop someone from capping before 1 minute and 30 seconds into the round.
Anything's possible, my friend. And Oblivion, one thing I'll say, what an exciting weekend. I mean, if anybody caught the stream yesterday and then they're getting a glimpse of tonight, this has been so fun to get back into casting with this group. And, I mean, this is incredible. And so we got the sim strat coming onto, now not the point, they went on the backside of the point, probably a smart idea there. Hard to push on with the Symmetra. 4:22 on the clock, and it's just really zoning them out right now. You can play it slow. I think they're looking for an opening to find.
Yeah, we see Sirking, Jared, and Chaos kind of duking it out with those Symmetra balls, trying to get damage. We see Dan taking an aggressive angle, is actually in a good position to deal a lot of damage. Fireteam Cobalt is kind of tearing apart Gibralfie's positioning, although Gibralfie is able to keep it up. Ihor goes down to Pet. Chaos is going to take out his counterpart, Sirking, Jared. Diggory does take down E&W. Dan is going to take out Chaos, so it's pretty even on the point here. Watchpoint Gibralfie is going to be up in this fight, though, so Fireteam Cobalt's going to need to do something. Jelly takes out Dan. That's a really big pick, although Jelly does go down, so now it's just Malarkey and Pajolo left. Malarkey gets booped off the map by Arietta. And Pajolo's going to get taken down here. Maybe. He gets protected by Ihor. Is Fireteam Cobalt going to bother taking back this point? Huge! Shatter coming out. Big tire. If Cobalt's able to touch this point, which they aren't!
They are, and this is going to be a really big problem here. And I know both teams have that teleporter, but I think right now Oblivion committing to that fight was a little bit too much. 3:44 on the clock, and they really got to get set up here. They will have amplification and the grab to hold them, but you got to be careful. You cannot throw this away, and they got really lucky there that Gibralfie is taking a little bit more time, because if they didn't, this would have been game, set, and match.
Yeah, you see Diggory had to reset the mech there, so a good amount of breathing room. Cobalt is able to set up their defense, take the high grounds they want to. They have a moment to regroup, collect, communicate a little bit, and really, you see a lot of waiting here coming up from Gibralfie.
That's a long time waited off the clock.
Yeah, I wouldn't have burned 30 seconds like that, but you know, if they go in with a good push here, then it'll be worth it.
It will be worth it. Now, I would have just agreed just to go on the point, waste time by doing the drawing push. But then look at that slam! Incredible work. Dan getting the high noon, the fire strike coming in, and they're putting the pressure onto the point. All of a sudden, Cobalt's going to have to find an answer to it. That sim wall and the self-destruct, and this is not looking good for Fireteam Cobalt. Gibralfie holding on to this point, finding the kills, and right now, Fireteam Cobalt doesn't have an answer as the time is dwindling down.
We see Ihor, curiously enough, switches to the Roadhog to try to stall. Not the pick I would go to here. Pajolo goes down with that Graviton Surge, so he isn't actually able to do it. And we see another round of no defense coming out.
So here we go, round 3. Like we said, we got the 11. What was that, Guru? What was that? The 11 CP? What did we call that?
10 CP.
Yeah, the 10 CP. So the 3 minutes and 7 seconds. That's a lot of time compared to 1 minute, but the pressure is still there. But I mean, look at it. 1 minute 53 seconds. That's all that Cobalt needed to push all the way to the end. So
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, I think it's really going to come down to the first team who's able to actually put up a defense on this first point. This first point has that hallmark choke here, right? It's easy for the defense to be able to funnel a lot of damage through it, so we're going to have to see one of these teams actually answer this Symmetra strat, make sure that they can stop them from getting that free positioning, so one of them is going to have to figure that out. The first team to play defense here is probably going to win the map.
Absolutely. 14 seconds waiting to go, and we both had the sim. Now, I really do like the sim strat on the defense. It's very hard to push into a sim. I mean, wouldn't you agree on that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as long as your turrets are set up in places that can't be shot down super easily, it becomes a real nightmare to even come close to touching the point if you're on the offense here. E&W, although, is on the May, so going to be looking for really close range fights.
So taking a bit of time here to get on this point, and I think that's what they know. They're waiting on this one fight. They're not really going to have a second fight here with all the time wasted, so you just got to make it where it counts. And they're going to wrap around, playing real smart there. They kind of need to assess the situation and then strike. It's kind of a pick and choose. And the sim turrets right there on that back wall could cause a little bit of problems, take him down immediately. But Diggory getting the kill in zone, getting the kills already. It's a 6v4 fight. And right now, Gibralfie's doing a good job at holding this. And this is going to be pretty tough for Cobalt. and that should do it.
Shatter
But a
comes
huge...
out, hits 5, but no one's able to follow up on it.
That's what you call phantom shatter right there, almost. So nobody's going to be able to touch. That's it. And they didn't even get a tick. So I mean, they did get a little bit on the point. So what Gibralfie's going to have to do is get a tick just about to win here. But 3 minutes, that seems pretty doable. But anything is possible. This is do or die for Fireteam Cobalt right now.
Yeah, I mean, you see, what I was going to say is Cobalt was making those rotations that I liked that they were playing it slow. I liked that they were trying to pick their spots. And you see they try to go aggressive whenever they just don't quite have the angle. They send people into the back line, but they just, with the teleporter, but you see Ihor on the Reinhardt just punishes them heavily for it. And I think that's what ultimately ended up losing them the fight. So I think they just tried to take that aggression too far. They went in too early. They tried to force a play where they really needed to be a little bit more patient, find some damage, find a Maywall perhaps, and then go in off of that.
So how about this though? We go to a round 3 on Hanamura, back-to-back days. I don't remember anything I've casted before that's had something like this. This shows that both these teams must have a really good coach.
Well, I see some problems here that both of the teams are having, which could come down to coaching, but you know, it's been a great match so far. I'm really hoping that Cobalt can impress me here with a good defense because I want to see more maps.
And here comes that Simstrat already pushing in, trying to get this early fight, and you can afford to be this aggressive in the beginning just to try to catch them off guard because it may work. But right now, Cobalt's doing a good job on this defense. But Gibralfie bringing this aggression. Dan with the early pick. There they go again. And then Immortality's down. And Cobalt's on the ropes right now in the 6v5 fight and looking just to stay alive.
You see Ihor goes down with that shatter. Gibralfie going to come in, though. Good aggression, good pacing, is able to take out Cobalt, and that's going to be the match.
Game, set, match. Gibralfie does it. Unfortunately, that's back-to-back days with Cobalt taking the loss. But, I mean, no matter how you look at it, I wouldn't be too ashamed of that. I mean, there's a few things you could have done better. But look, the zone, again, with play of the game. We need to get this person in there. They are a madman.
3 out of 4, I'll take it.
3 out of 4. Unbelievable. The zone MVP of the match. I don't know if we have MVP honors right now, but they're going to get it. I would argue MVP of the league, of the Earth Division. That's incredible.
I mean, plays of the game don't lie. We see really good use of the Wrecking Ball by Watchpoint Gibralfie, really able to use the zone to create space. We didn't see it a lot on that point, but when we did, it worked great. So just excellent job by Watchpoint Gibralfie to be able to play to their strengths there, but really close match. Funny enough, the most one-sided point was the one that Fireteam Cobalt took down. So, and on Gibralfie's map choice too. So, just a really great match overall from both teams.
Absolutely. Now, Wood Tier Guru, you're still in here, right? Is there any chance we could get the zone in here?
Yeah. Let me see if I can lock down that interview.
Yeah, gotta lock this down. I want it. We gotta hear it. But no matter what, even if we don't get the interview, as I was saying, Oblivion, that was fun. That was great. I mean, is that what you're expecting out of both of your teams coming into this?
You know, I set up a solo cast on my own stream for their preseason match, and their preseason match went to map 5, went to 0.3 of control.
Wow.
So
very close. And it almost did tonight. It almost went to a map 5 tonight. Yeah,
I mean, we were looking really similar to that. If we saw a defense come out from Cobalt on any of those 3 rounds, then you would be still casting a really close match of Overwatch. And I mean, we just casted a really close match of Overwatch. So I think Cobalt won that first match in the preseason. Gibralfie coming out really strong on the second match does not want to go 2-0 to their, or does not want to go 0-2 to their rival team in this league.
Absolutely. Now, Guru, I know you're busy doing all that stuff. What does that mean for Cobalt now?
I mean, essentially we are running a round robin, at least to find out what our top 4 is for the playoffs. So all we're doing right now is we're having every team play each other team. We're not going to see a rematch in the Oak division until we get into that playoff situation. So really, we're just building up statistics and finding out which teams are the top 4. With Fireteam Cobalt losing this match, it does put them at 2-2. Let me pull up the schedule to see where everyone else is.
Let's see if you could. I know that's a lot of work, but
It is also a little bit. It's not completely updated at the moment. We do have each team has the ability to reschedule matches, so we are still waiting on a match from 5 a.m. Riptide and Lost Borealis from round 3. But looking at it, we've got Fireteam Cobalt with. Oh wow! It says they have 1 win and now they have 2 losses, and it'll be one win and 3 losses, and then for Watchpoint Gibralfie, it should be 2 wins and 2 losses.
So does that mean that Cobalt's just about out at this point? I mean, can they come back? I mean, how many more?
This is round 4. There are 9 rounds. So
there's plenty of time. They could redeem it.
There is plenty of time.
But they got to step on the pedal. And I think they got good potential. Like I said, both teams, there's nothing wrong with both teams, and they certainly have great potential both ways. But Cobalt, they got to find that way to be the aggressive. What they just did earlier was incredible. They got to find that, but they have to find it early, and they can't get picked off early. They got to be the ones doing that.
I think both teams showed the same sort of skills, right? They both showed that they know how to play Overwatch. They know how to use their ults right. They know how to position. They take losing fights, turn them into winning fights. We saw that a lot from both teams. But the thing that I think was the biggest contributing factor to this match is that Gibralfie just seemed like they were more consistent. And I think consistency is one of the things that Cobalt is really going to have to look forward to. You see they have the big plays. You see they have the players that can do it. But the thing that they need to do is make sure that they're doing the same thing every time and not getting caught up on the little things, not getting, like you said, not getting picked off, making sure that they're not getting out of position or wasting ultimates. And they just need to bring up their consistency level, because in this match tonight they showed us that they know what they need to do.
Leaving off with that, we do have the zone ready to go. If you guys are ready for that interview.
Absolutely. Let's bring them in.
Pull them in.
All right. The zone, are you there?
The zone is muted right now. I think he's in our little haven, so he may have to get a server on mute here real quick.
Okay.
Shoot. Okay. Give me just one moment, and I will pull all of us into the Watchpoint channel.
Yes, I got you. Okay. One moment. Technical.
All right. Sorry about the dead space there, guys.
So we still live?
Yes, we are still live,
Okay.
ready to go.
Fantastic. Welcome to Zone. fantastic work tonight. I mean, absolutely, you're a menace. It's
I like
disgusting.
to think of myself as such. Yeah, it's fun.
That's what they call you. That was going to be your alternate account is the menace.
Yeah.
You know. So going into tonight, and you guys started off, being down 1-0. Did you start to worry at that point, or did you feel like you didn't have all your stuff together?
So we did go down the first map, and we sort of took a moment. We do this thing where we all like take a breath. We put our hands straight up in the air. We also put our characters looking their hands straight up in the air as well. But we took a second. We were just like, okay, we got jitters. We got to calm down and actually execute our composition's goals. And because that's why we at least feel we lost map 1. And so we were just like, all right, well, let's do what our comp is designed to do. We surrounded, we disrupted, and we just harassed people until they died. And so we were just able to actually take that time. So yeah, it took a minute, but we got there, and we sort of ironed out our kinks.
That's fantastic. So remaining calm is always the key, and you can overcome any situation, which is fantastic. Now I got to ask, turning over to Coach Oblivion over here. Well, I'll go back to the zone. How did it feel to have your coach casting this match?
Oh, I can't wait to watch it back, because I'm sure we just get bullied all hell. It's just,
not as much as you think, but there was a little bit. There was a little bit of bullying. We couldn't talk you. We kept talking you up and up. But going to Oblivion's side, any questions you got here for the zone, or anything you'd like to ask?
So what's it like only getting 3 out of 4?
Honestly, it's a boomer. I'm very boomed right now. Because honestly, I'll be honest, I did think I had that last one too. I thought I had that on lock. Oh, and I'm so sad I didn't get it.
One of my biggest criticisms I have for you, honestly, I didn't see a lot of spraying. I didn't see a lot of waving. You must have heard the little on fire sound go off in the Overwatch, and that's when you got to look at the ground, spray, maybe emote. You had 3 chances for it, and I just didn't see it here against your rival team. So, I think that is one of the fundamentals of Overwatch is doing a bunch of useless stuff like spraying the ground mid-fight so that you can show off your swag. I've seen pros do it since Dive in 2016. Come back to the start of the cast, so it's just something that you're gonna have to work on. You're gonna have to pick it up.
720 quick scoping, as everybody did on Rust, 1v1, all that jazz.
Yeah, what I tell you about Ball is that he actually can't teabag, and so it really hampers my style ability. Like it just I can't do it.
Alrighty, well, I do appreciate your time. Anything else you got to add in here, Wood Tier?
No, actually, this was a fantastic stream. I thoroughly enjoyed producing for it. The zone, incredibly well played. Congratulations on 3 of 4 plays of the games. Maybe you'll get all of them next time. If you guys don't have anything, I am more than ready to close it out for the night.
I think that does. I want to thank everybody, of course, for joining in to Limit Break Gaming, for the wonderful opportunities, for the wonderful production, and, of course, all the players. But all this couldn't be possible without the wonderful fans that we have in the community.
Oblivion, any final remarks?
That was just a fun game to watch. I'm glad I had a whole cup of water here. Thank you guys for having me out and letting my teams sort of brawl it out, anime battle it out, and try to make a good time of it.
Absolutely no problem. Ladies and gentlemen, the Wood Tier Invitational, 6th season, round 4 of our Oak Bracket, won by Watchpoint Gibralfie. Final congratulations, and that's where we're going to close it out.